Clarkston, Michigan, the greatest city in the world. It's the Jose Aliaga Show. Jose Aliaga knows everyone. Get to know him as he interviews some of the most fascinating people from the greater Independence Township area. And now, broadcasting from the studios at Clarkston High School, the home of the state champion Wolves, here's Jose Aliaga.
Welcome to the Jose Aliaga Show. Today we have a special guest, Jonathan Ettinger, who is a political analyst. And he actually is a graduate from University of Michigan. And he is, actually he's gonna announce also he's having a second book. How you doing, Jonathan?
Hi, Jose. Good to be back here. Yeah, the first book I had, of course, was Neither Living Nor Dead, about the Constitution. And I just finished one titled To Reason to Believe. It's available. It's up on, anyway, I won't plug it, but look it up, all right?
Good, so people can look it up on Facebook, just Jonathan Ettinger.
We'll get there.
Second book. Good. Well, last time we were talking about the presidential race. We talked about Democrats primary and Republican primary. And in the Republican primary, when we talked last time, it was just one candidate. It was Texas Senator Ted Cruz.
Yeah, officially. Yeah.
Officially. Now we have three senators. Ted Cruz from Texas, Ron Paul from Kentucky, senator as well, Senator Marco Rubio from Florida, and today actually we have Ben Carson, who's born and raised in Detroit, I believe.
Originally, yep.
And Carly
Fiorina from California.
So what do you think about that? I mean, first of all, who is the best candidate for all of them? Right now we have five.
Well, I mean, out of those, given my own ideological leanings, very pro-liberty, absolutely limited government, Rand Paul, no question.
Rand Paul. Why? Why Rand Paul is better than the other two senators and the other two business people?
Well, once upon a time I would have liked Ted Cruz, but I'm not even clear where he stands on anything anymore, actually.
Okay.
I mean, there's the Ted Cruz who helped filibuster in the Senate with Rand Paul, and then there's Ted Cruz who's campaigning today. I don't know. Rand Paul is more consistent ideologically. He actually stands on his principles, and he's making an effort to not just, how do I say, sing to the choir. He's reaching out because he genuinely cares about all Americans and literally scaling back government and making life better for everyone, not just particular people. Someone like Rubio plays favorites.
Okay. But you see, some people are very concerned right now and who's going to be the next president of the United States for many reasons. Many reasons, important reasons, like the economy, foreign policy. And foreign policy, I was watching a couple nights ago that Iran has nuclear weapons, North Korea, nuclear weapons, Russia have nuclear weapons, so is Venezuela. All of these people are very communist idea. They hate United States, most of them, and some of them even talk like the guy from North Korea, saying that he's actually threatening United States right now.
Yeah.
So the next president, we need someone with strong leadership, who knows what's going on around the world, and make sure our country is secure. So you think Ron Paul has all those requirements?
Well,
the knowledge?
Here's the thing, though. You don't have to assume so much going in, because this is why you have a cabinet. This is why you have advisors. Ultimately, foreign policy is not about what that one person in the Oval Office knows. You've got a whole State Department. You've got Department of Defense, Department of Justice weighs in. How many different committees on the House and Senate? It's not going to come down to one person. Even if Rand Paul went in there knowing nothing about foreign policy, and I'm not saying by any stretch that that's the case, because if nothing else, he has principles of saying, why are we involved all over the place? And there's some details to be figured out, but generally he stands on a case of, we're not going to police the world. But in any situation that comes up, he's going to have plenty of people giving him all the facts minute by minute that he needs to know So where he stands on principle matters to me more than has he sat on 12 committees in the past.
I see. But I told you this before in the last interview, but I couldn't finish. I believe in this primary, sometimes the people that win is people that they apply what we call popularism. And I told you before, even we disagree, but the last time we had somebody from Kentucky was Henry Clay, which he has a great resume. He was a Secretary of State. He was a former Speaker of the House, a congressman, a U.S. Senator from Kentucky. And in the primary, well, it wasn't Republican primary in that time because it was the Whig party, but he lost against Zacharias Taylor. And we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have internet, all that. It was just newspapers, and Zachary Taylor was General Zachary Taylor, who was popular from the Mexican War. That's it. He never ran a business, he never ran a budget, he never was involved in any cabinet, nothing. He won because he was popular. Now, do you think Ron Paul is popular enough? I don't say popular is what we need, but to win a primary is by name recognition, by people, you know. Do you think he's well-known enough to win the primary?
Currently, maybe not. But we've got almost a full year to go until the first primary actually happens. He's been doing nothing but building name ID ever since he first got into the Senate at the start of 2011.
But do you think people still remember him as the son of Ron Paul? Or you think...
Well, yeah, most people will, and it's always going to be brought up. And for better or for worse, some people use that as a plus. Some people hold against him. Doesn't matter. I mean, you give a good example, though, of what happened. Yeah, popularity wins the day. The trick is, in this particular time, in this particular climate, what determines that popularity? Back then, hi, I'm a general, isn't this awesome? Boom, done. Nothing else even mattered. And elections are also run very differently than what we do now.
Right.
But at the same time, right, hey, it's going to come down to who has money, who can build the name ID, and who comes off as genuine. Because no matter how much you build name ID, if the majority of people don't believe you, you're still gone.
Yeah, the reason I brought Henry Clay, I know it's too old, but it's because I remember that was the last time I see a Kentucky senator running for office in history. Yeah. I don't remember, maybe you remember someone, I don't. But since the media changed everything now, Facebook, YouTube, and all that, Barack Obama used that to defeat Hillary and become a popular. He became a celebrity. He was in every single show talking. And then boom, he win the primary against Hillary Clinton. They have a name recognition. I mean, he was popular. The media built him. So I don't see that happen right now with any other, I mean, with Ron Paul or... Well,
you got to remember one important thing, though. That primary ultimately was Obama versus Hillary. Obama was nothing but image building, and notice how closely he's controlled his image ever since he first ran for the U.S. Senate, okay? There's still plenty of his background people don't actually know. Right. Contrast that with everyone already knew Hillary from, if nothing else, her time as First Lady, her time as a senator. There were plenty of people who had enough things against Hillary. Obama said, I'm change. It was empty, it was nothing, but it's salesmanship, and that's what won.
So who's your second pick? Okay, you said Ron Paul, for you, you say why he's the best candidate, you already said, but you already told me that, but who is the second best pick out of those five?
Out of the five that I've actually announced?
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's, yeah, I couldn't tell you. I got to wait and see what Carly Fiorina actually stands for.
Well, but she has a business experience. She was a CEO. She ran AT&T.
But as you said, remember, experience is everything. She has plenty of business credentials.
Right.
But where does she stand politically? What is going to drive her decisions going forward? That we don't know yet.
Well, if we assume, I assume that she has to be business friendly. Because she runs as a CEO, she knows what is the thing that is against, the regulation that against business people, and I think she will be more proactive to work and cut off regulation. I assume that, since she came in for that background. I don't think so she's going to increase penalties for business people. She wants to slow business growth. I don't believe she's going to go that way.
Here's the thing, though. You're assuming a lot, because a business background doesn't mean you're necessarily pro-business across the board and friendly to everyone. Okay. She very well could be in favor of regulations which support the kind of corporations she used to run,
Okay.
the kind of things which strangle smaller businesses and make things worse overall. She could be favoring all kinds of special favors and tax breaks for those businesses, which are actually worse for us.
Okay, but now, do you believe at this point, right now, she's kind of the Mitt Romney from the last primary? Since she can, because Mitt Romney was the candidate, they have the business background. So you believe she's the...
No,
No.
You can't say that because
Okay.
Romney also came with political experience, specifically executive experience, and could speak to that whole period of being in charge of the Olympics and the way he fixed that. Carly doesn't have any of that.
Well, hold on. She ran for Senate. She ran
Yeah.
for Senate. She knows what it takes to run a campaign, and she ran also businesses.
She ran
I mean,
a
when you
campaign,
run a
but she
business-
never won.
Well,
She was an also ran. She didn't get very far, and most people outside of California still have no idea who she is.
back in history again, Abraham Lincoln lost an election for Senate in was 1858 when he ran for Senate against Stephen Douglas, very well-known, famous senator. Abraham Lincoln lost the election. 2 years later, he ran for president, and he won against the same actually
Okay.
person, Stephen Douglas.
But remember something, though.
Yeah.
Back then, senators were still chosen by the legislature, not the people at large.
Okay.
So those are two very different campaigns that he ran.
Okay, all right. No, but I give you something in history that
Yeah.
was someone that actually ran for Senate. He lost the election, but then ran for president. It's the same kind of case that
But there's
lost the election
all
and
kinds of
running.
details involved, though. That's what I'm saying.
Well, okay, yeah, but also we have more social media. I'm pretty sure that she's going to use it to promote the best that she can to offer.
We'll see.
But you don't think that it's good to having a smart person, a woman running for president of the United States in the Republican ticket? You don't think that's a good thing?
I have no issue with gender whatsoever.
Okay.
Hey, having a woman makes it easier to keep Republicans in the running, so Hillary's not running as I'm the pro-woman candidate. That's fine.
All right.
If that's what it comes to.
All right.
But no one should support either of them just because they're female.
Okay. Now, what's wrong with Marco Rubio? He's a senator. He's 6 years in the Senate. He has experience. He's well liked by the Hispanic community. He's in a state very crucial, which has been the last two presidential elections when Democrat is become a swing state.
Yeah.
Some people call it purple state. And I think Marco Rubio will carry Florida in November, which is not anymore 26 or 27 electoral college vote. Now it's 29 increase for this election. 29.
Okay.
All right.
If Rubio was the nominee,
Yes.
yeah, he's got a good chance of taking Florida.
Yeah.
But before he even gets there, he's protectionist economically,
Okay.
questionable immigration policy,
Okay.
and he not only supports, but one of the main proponents behind re-upping the USA Patriot Act.
Okay.
He's got very questionable credentials when it comes to personal security and individual rights.
Okay. But so you think by electing, supporting, just for whoever wins, I like the five of them. Whoever wins, I gonna be supporting
Okay.
no matter what. But what you're saying is, if Ron Paul wins, Kentucky senator, that will be strong leadership and platform and support that he's gonna win Florida, Ohio, Virginia, the swing states on November.
Well, the thing is, Florida, by and large, swings slightly Republican as it is, regardless of who the candidate is.
Okay.
So really, you can't make that call because it's going to depend on who the Republican is and who the Democrat is. If the Democrat has enough popular appeal, then yeah, they could possibly take Florida, even away from Marco Rubio. It depends on who it is and what kind of popularity they have.
Okay. All right. No, it's good to know. So far, I know they are working hard. All of them going different states, making speeches because they don't have yet that big name nationwide. I know that.
Yeah.
Right? We agree on that. So now, what now, Ben Carson. He have a good story. He's a doctor. He inspired many people. He born in Detroit.
Yeah.
Great story. I really personally, I like him a lot. He came to Clarkston, Independence Township. Dr. James O'Neill hosts an event pro-life, and he spoke. I think he's a good candidate. But now, what do you think he lack?
Well, right now, he's trying to do this whole popularity built out of the unknown thing, okay? And that can work and it cannot. Barack Obama was straight out of the unknown, boom, state senator, very little record to point to as a senator, ran for U.S. Senate. We don't even talk about that whole thing.
Yeah.
But contrast that, Herman Cain came out of nowhere.
All right.
Here I am, CEO, Godfather Pizza, 999.
Right.
He dropped out before the first primary. He was all flash, did a bunch of debates, died. Carson, he seems like a genuinely nice guy. He's got a good narrative background to point to. Yeah, and that's not enough for any, I mean, it's like, hey, he's a great doctor. I want him in charge of my medical facility. That's fine. Politically, he's still an unknown. What little he has spoken about things, he seems to go against the majority of Republicans when it comes to Second Amendment gun rights.
All right.
And he's spoken specifically about vaccination to the point of saying, no, people can't refuse mandatory vaccinations. Take out the word vaccination. People can't refuse mandatory. He's saying you have to actually go along with the law just because it's the law. There's no room to question or object to it. That's not a good position to have.
No, but clarify that. You're not saying that people should break the law. You're saying that...
I'm not saying break the law. I'm saying there is room to genuinely question what the law is, and if you feel it's wrong, to challenge it. Now, if you want to outright break it because you don't believe in it, then you still have to face those consequences. But I'm saying you must have the room to question it. You cannot take a never question the state position.
Just for the people watching, you're talking about the vaccination, which is when the government mandates to every single newborn then get several vaccines, is what you're talking about.
Well, that's what he put it to. I'm just saying, apply it in a more general sense.
Okay.
You have to be willing to question policies of the state, period.
Okay, but so for you, Ben Carson won't have a chance for win the nomination?
How it looks right now, no. But there's a lot that can happen over the next 10 months or so, okay?
Right.
I don't expect it'll go far, but we also don't know who else is going to get involved. We don't know how it's going to go.
But don't think, because I always walking around, talking with people, knocking on doors, talking with the average people. People want to see an outsider. They says, I'm tired of Jose Clinton, this Jeb Bush, which I like, fine. And some other people say, well, it's the establishment, Marco Rubio, senator in Washington, Washington is running. And now this CEO kind of uses it can be establishment too, because she helped, we talked, you said she used to be advised for Senator John McCain campaign.
Yeah, she was involved in the McCain campaign.
So don't think for that people then looking at new face, maybe Ben Carson is a new outsider for this election.
And that's been part of the appeal, though.
Okay.
That's exactly why for months there have been a lot of people wanting to draft Ben Carson in. Because they're going for the, I hate politics, I want someone who's not in politics vote. And that's a great thing. But it can't be everything.
Okay.
Plenty of people are not in politics. Plenty of people would be the outsider. That doesn't mean you even want them to be mayor of your town, much less president.
Sure. Well, no, valid point. So which one? We talk about Ted Cruz, we talk about Marco Rubio, we talk about Rand Paul. Well, now, what about last time I got economic professor Chris Douglas? He says he kind of like the idea that the next president should be a governor because he has experience in dealing with the legislature, Senate and House, and they know how to talk to the legislation to pass a bill and move forward, work with the budget. And that kind of experience is good to bring to Washington, to the White House. Do you agree or disagree with what Chris Douglas says? He specific kind of was talking about, I think, someone like maybe Jeb Bush or Scott Walker, both one former governor and one governor.
Well, it's not as simple as agree or disagree, okay?
Okay.
In general, I would agree because having executive experience is a good thing. However, that's not to say that someone who's been a governor is automatically more qualified than someone who's just been a senator or than someone who's never held office. You can't just leave it that simple. I mean, look at past governors, okay? Romney was a governor, people wouldn't give him the time of day. Reagan was a governor, great. George W. Bush was a governor. Look what happened during his 2 terms. Bill Clinton was a governor. Look at what happened during his 2 terms. Yeah, that's not everything.
Okay, no, but I just bring the question since also Chris Douglas and some people.
No, I understand the point.
People,
I do.
People says I want governor. That's it, Jose. I want governor. Who's running? oh, well, it's not governor, yeah, I'm going to wait if Jeb Bush or Scott Walker goes. And Scott Walker have a good track record.
Rick Snyder might be running too, remember?
Right, it's Snyder running, okay, governor. So what's wrong with Snyder? I mean, do you think,
Executive experience isn't everything. You have to look at which state they're from. You have to look at what they've actually done there. Does that even apply to anything that we'd be dealing with on the national level? And how does that contrast with the positions of other people? Like I said, it's a nice thing to say I have executive experience. But come on. Honestly, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Rudy Giuliani as mayor of New York City is equivalent to enough executive experience to being governor of a small state, okay?
All right. So, but now, if Scott, this is assumption, if Scott Walker run, do you think he will be a good candidate? I mean, do you think he have a chance?
He's looked pretty good so far, but again, way too early, way too many unknowns still to figure out.
All right. Now, Jeb Bush, what do you think? At this point, with the other fighters already announcing, do you think he have a chance to beat Rubio, Ron Paul, and Ted Cruz?
If it was just Jeb Bush and those five, and if it came down to money spent, let's put it this way. If the election were held next month and those 6 were in it, yeah, Jeb Bush is almost guaranteed to take it.
Okay.
Why? Name ID, not enough of it that's actually detractional from him, and he's got the money to buy the votes, period. Because his whole campaign is going to be built on rebranding himself, distancing himself from his brother, and spending money to become popular, period.
Okay. But the election is in next year, so
so there's still a lot to go before now and then.
All right. Now, what happened with the left wing? I mean, who is the candidate now? I mean, Hillary Clinton announced. She have a nice commercial. Well, no nice commercial for me. But it has a commercial there. I would say nice. So nice.
And that
a commercial.
Follow Hillary to the hospital logo. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So now Elizabeth Warren didn't announce yet, and a lot of leftists are very concerned because they want support Elizabeth Warren. And
now notice something about that though. In recent weeks, you hear less and less about Elizabeth Warren's name. Which makes it seem like it's less likely that she would run. However, in the meantime, what happened? Bernie Sanders out of Vermont says, I'm running.
Okay.
Now, this is Bernie, who originally had been a Democrat, who for years has now been running as independent and caucusing with the Democrats, because he is an admitted socialist. He would run as Socialist Party if he could, but he knows that wouldn't work. I would say politically, he is to the left of Warren. So now there's no need for Warren to even get involved in this thing.
Okay. So how left is him? He's like...
No, he's literally an admitted socialist. I mean,
so
no question.
He's like Fidel Castro, that kind of type.
He may choose to define it slightly differently than Castro does, but I mean, that's still, admitted socialist here, libertarian way over here.
Okay.
Big difference.
So, but you earlier say something that this Bernie is going to make Hillary looks good now.
Well, see,
what you
that's
said
the thing.
A few minutes ago.
Ultimately, he's going to apply to, he'll appeal to the very far left, the ones who think that Hillary's not left enough, not strong enough, okay? Is that going to be enough to get him anywhere? Again, this is popularity. They might still be a very small minority of the Democratic Party vote.
Yeah.
But going forward, consider it. Hillary's views will look moderate compared to his. Ultimately, it will make Hillary look better to some people.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's going to be to a lot of people, but it will make her look better. Then she'll get the nomination. She'll have that to use going into the general.
Very interesting. Is not anyone right now that thinking about running for president in the Democrat nomination? It's just those two? That's it?
Well, there aren't as many names being tipped as possibilities as there are in the Republicans. Okay, I mean, because consider, Ben Carson basically announced in the last day. Carly Fiorina announced literally earlier today.
Yeah.
We're expecting an announcement from Mike Huckabee tomorrow. That doesn't mean he'll say he's running. He might be saying he's not. There's expected to have an announcement from Rick Perry early next month. You've got Chris Christie is still exploring, Jeb Bush is exploring, Lindsey Graham is exploring, Scott Walker, Rick Santorum, all officially exploring. We're not even talking about the ones who are just talked about yet, okay? Democrats don't have nearly as many names floating around right now. I mean, one of the ones who's talked about as said publicly that maybe he might think about doing it, Joe Biden. Does anyone take Joe Biden seriously enough? Probably not. Ultimately, this is Hillary, and I think Bernie's only getting into it to make sure Hillary doesn't just automatically run away with it.
Okay, what about John Kerry?
There's like almost no chance he would try.
No chance at all.
He knows that he has no political hope against Hillary. It would not happen.
That was a governor he was serving in Clinton cabinet, Richardson.
Oh no, he tried and failed in the last go round of multiple candidates. He was like at the bottom tier of the Democrats that time. No.
Dennis Kucinich.
I think he's pretty much retired by now. I mean, he might resurface as like a Green Party candidate or something. I mean, hey, depending on where you look, okay.
Yeah.
Roseanne Barr, actress comedian, is supposedly a candidate from like the Freedom Peace Party or something like that right now. Yeah, take a look, seriously. But no, I mean, it's Hillary, it's Bernie, and very unlikely that many others are going to get involved on that side.
So, okay. Yeah, so I still hear speculations about Rick Snyder running for president.
It's just something that's very in the low, early stage rumor kind of.
Really?
I wouldn't give too much credibility to it. I think it'd be funny if it happened. I'd love to see him in ad debate against some of the other ones, but no.
No, Rick Santorum.
Well, again, I mean, apparently I thought he had announced, but I guess he's kind of reframed that and scaled it back to, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, because you say before that you said that he announced.
I swear that had been the case, but now it's like as if that's been scrubbed from history. Now he's just exploring. Like, okay, fine.
Okay. It looks like that Chris Christie, I don't know, is still...
Again, officially exploring, but I mean, with the latest revelations coming out about that whole
the bridge
thing with the bridge and wow, he's got nothing but PR problems. He might almost have a better shot if he tried running Democrat instead at this point.
Well, for example, you said before in George Pataki, former governor of New York, no chance, but he still have explored community. He's exploring around.
Hey.
He's still traveling and making connections, shaking hands, and campaigning.
And he might be making the dinner circuit network right now, so he's building it, but he's running under the radar so people don't really know what he's doing. I don't know.
Now, Mike Huckabee, you says he may announce tomorrow?
From what I've read, he has a scheduled announcement tomorrow. We'll see what it is.
Former Arkansas governor, who's very conservative, well-liked.
Yeah.
So why, I mean, he runs right now against the 5 people that currently already announced and are already campaigning. Now, I think Mike Huckabee have a name by now. Now, no chance to win the primary.
Well, that's going to depend on who votes in what primary. Because a Huckabee is basically like Santorum, like I said last time, but he only appeals to a really particular segment of voters. Sure, he's a governor, he has that background, fine. But he's in that little camp of the religious social conservative, okay? Out of the 5 currently running, he'd be fighting with Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio a little bit for that camp, a little. He'd still get most of it. Meanwhile, the rest of the voter base is still up for grabs and he has no chance at it.
But I recall in the primary in 2008, he won Iowa. Was Iowa or New Hampshire? I think it was Iowa.
It was Iowa,
yeah.
but I mean, there were also particulars involved in how that happened. It was the narrowest of margins. It's a whole thing.
But the primary starting Iowa, right? This primary starting Iowa, New Hampshire.
Oh yeah, just because it's traditionally how it's been done.
Right. That's why I'm saying. I think Michigan is going to be in March. Michigan is going to be one top 5.
Hey,
in the beginning, I mean.
John Huntsman was second in New Hampshire that go around. Okay.
In 2008.
I think maybe he was 12. I don't remember now, but that still wasn't enough. He still quit by the next state. There are people who have come first or second in Iowa and or New Hampshire who still cut out not long after.
Well, most of it, the candidates in quick is after Florida. Usually it's Iowa, New Hampshire, it's Georgia, then
South Carolina comes up before those.
South Carolina, Georgia, and Michigan, right? Michigan is 5th, I think.
I'd have to look, because they have been shuffling them around a little bit.
And then Florida. And whoever leads Florida to the Super Tuesday that's it. Whoever is in Florida, most people are starting.
Well, but again, if someone wins Iowa, great. They've got a lot of free press before New Hampshire happens.
Right.
If they do well in New Hampshire, great. You got a lot of free press. That's nothing though. That, if you haven't already built name ID by then, that helps boost you a little bit. Otherwise, you better have already set yourself as something before that happened, or you're still nowhere.
All right.
Look, I mean, if you look in the past, there have been plenty of people who've done quite well in Iowa and New Hampshire, only to completely flame out not long after.
That's why my question was in the beginning. Do you think Marco Rubio, then we're not talking about November, after we started battle Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, and he's second, third, but Florida, 29 electoral college right there. And he wins Florida.
The biggest.
Then he take the lead.
Well, again, I mean, since we're talking primary, then the electoral vote's not what matters. You have to look at the delegates.
Delegates, yeah.
But
Florida have a lot of
the biggest impact for Marco Rubio in Florida in the primary is going to be whether or not Jeb Bush is in the race.
Exactly.
Florida could become a complete split between Rubio and Bush. Meanwhile, everyone else is focusing their campaigns everywhere else.
But I remember that whoever's win Florida take the whole delegate.
Well, I believe that, they are one of the winner-take-all.
Yeah.
Most states are.
Yeah.
Michigan's looking at possibly changing theirs on that one.
Because no, Michigan with Santorum and Romney was, I think they divide, right?
They had a particular system, and now they're even looking at you have to look in the particulars, and they change from year to year.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, some states are winner-take-all. Some are more of a district proportional. Some get, it can be a mess.
Okay. So at this point, can you give me a prediction who's going to win the primary between those 5?
Out of the 5 that are currently running, it's really going to be hard to call. I'm just going to put it this way. I'm going to say Cruz and Fiorina are your least likely out of the 5.
Okay.
That, I mean, with what we have right now.
Cruz and Fiorina, okay. So Ben Carson, Rand Paul, or not in the order of Rand Paul, Ben Carson, and Rubio are more...
Because Rand Paul has his own particular, support.
Yes, true.
Rubio's got his. And then you got people running to Ben Carson because not the politician.
Right.
Those are your 3 major factions. Fiorina and Cruz don't have any of that.
So, but for what you're saying right now, Ben Carson is the outsider so far out of the 5.
Well, yeah, in the sense that he's never run for anything. But again, let's see what he stands on things. Let's see what he actually be.
Right, not just run. I mean, people can run like Fiorina run, but he's
Donald Trump might be running.
Yeah, but he's not for the political establishment. I talk about being bold and...
But that's not inherently good. People make too much out of that.
Okay. You say Donald Trump may run now?
Oh, he's one of the speculative names. But then again, so he was back in 2012 and 2008. And yeah, I wouldn't put much money on it.
Any other name that we didn't talk right now that you think may run? It's speculation. Any other name? That people don't know that we talk Pataki, Giuliani, obviously no.
Yeah, Giuliani I don't think would. And of course we know Walker's and maybe. Anyone else who's anything close to maybe is so far out there, they're probably not even worth bringing up.
He was a governor, then he came, I think last week to Oakland County. Cusick, Indiana or?
Oh no, John Cusick, okay, from Ohio.
Ohio, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was in Congress, he had a show on Fox, he became governor.
Okay.
Kasich is his name, yeah, Kasich, John Kasich.
Yeah.
Hey, he can announce if he wants to, but majority of people still have no idea who he is, so he's got nothing but an uphill battle. So yeah, he's one of the names that's talked about is out there, maybe.
Okay.
I wouldn't put much money on it.
But Ohio is also a swing state that we know win the last 2
but
elections.
he's also a guy who might not win his own state, though, so because he's that far down.
Okay, all right. Well, Governor Snyder, he's not going for re-election anyways. He announced to run. He's free to do it.
But if he were to run for something in 2016 and get elected, he would have to leave halfway through his 2nd term as a governor, and that becomes a whole new mess. Okay. So, I mean, you really have to weigh that against it. What could he get, and is it really worth jumping, because he will be looked very unfavorably about having run out on his 2nd term as a governor.
I see. Good point. Good point. Good point. So now, basically, we talk about everyone, and you told me that Ted Cruz and Fiorina, no chance.
Not really, not at this point.
So it's just between Marco Rubio, those guys. So apparently you said Ron Paul, if he win the nomination, he's more likely to win in November.
Yeah.
Now, Marco Rubio, he wins the nomination, he's more likely he can beat Hillary Clinton?
Hard to call, because the one thing that Rand Paul has going for him that people like Rubio don't, is that Rand is making a major effort to build support beyond the usual Republican base. While everyone else is fighting over the usual base and then maybe slightly trying to appeal to Hispanics and things like that, playing demographics with it, Rand Paul is the one who comes out to Detroit and says, I care about people in the inner cities. This isn't about just being Republican. This is about being an American and what government should or should not be doing.
Okay.
Rubio's not doing that. Cruz isn't doing that. None of them are. Rand Paul is genuinely trying to reach out to everyone at large, but the only people he can't reach are the ones way over on this end who are completely dead set against him and would never look at him.
But my question, so it's true, but you see the Hispanics have been, most of it have been voting Democrat. Not in the last election, though. Actually, the last election, Republicans gained majority in the Senate because the Hispanic voters went to Republican.
Well, because in the past, Democrats have taken them for granted, and they kind of resented that in the last election.
Correct. But now, I think Marco Rubio winning become the nominee will be able to reach that vote in November, which is important because it's not just Texas, it's also New Mexico, California,
Perhaps,
Florida.
but consider one thing, though. It's too general to say Hispanic, because remember, Rubio's background is Cuban.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say that Cubans necessarily get along with everyone else south of the United States, be they Mexicans, Dominicans, anywhere. I mean, you're from Peru yourself. It's a wide variety. It's wrong to just say Hispanics.
Well, his wife is from Colombia, and that's appeal to get people from South America, other.
But I'm just saying it's not a guarantee. That's all.
It's not a guarantee. No, true. I mean, Jeb Bush's wife is from Mexico. Also, I mean, I think Ted Cruz, all of them are appealing really well with the Hispanic community.
Yeah,
I think that
in general.
In general, yeah. But so Rubio won't have a chance, according to you, against Hillary. Just talking about Rubio, Hillary.
I'm not going to say not a chance, but wow, that would be iffy at best. It was this way. For Rubio to beat Hillary, it's less of a pro-Rubio vote than it is an anti-Hillary vote.
Okay.
That's really what it would be.
All right. Ted Cruz against Hillary?
Even less of a chance than Rubio at this point.
Okay. Ben Carson?
Too unknown to call.
Really?
I mean,
so
hey,
what you saying? So
he
what
could surprise me. I don't know.
Well,
I don't expect
what
it.
you're saying is that only out of those five that just announced until today, Ron Paul is the only one can defeat Hillary Clinton in November.
Based on my perspective, that I could see as genuinely having a shot at it, yeah. The rest of them would be iffy at best. Like I said, Rand is building his own base. So the rest have to count on simply an anti-Hillary vote.
Okay. Good point, good point. All right, John. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming and help me and give me more and share your knowledge with people and tell us.
Glad to be here anytime, yeah.
Thanks, because last time we just have one candidate. At least we talk about five today.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot more going on now.
Hopefully, by the next couple of months, we got more candidates and something more to talk.
Let's see how it goes. I mean, personally, I can't wait for the first debate. Then we really have something to talk about.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Do you know when's the next?
No, that's. I don't think they've even scheduled it yet.
There's many candidates. Yeah, we have 5, 6, 7. For president. I mean, 5 in the Republican and officially 2, yes. Well, thank you, John. Thank you for
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And for the people that want to see your book, again, they can go to Facebook and write it.
Yep, facebook.com, Neither Living Nor Dead. That's for my first book. The second book, To Reason to Believe. I don't have a page up yet, but, we'll get there.
Good. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, to watch the show, and that if you want to be on the show, please contact us on Facebook at the Jose Aliaga Show on Facebook. You just click the Jose Aliaga Show, or you can call us at 248-763-7163. Thank you, and God bless you.